Mini Jake, the tribe has spoken.
Fuck you, Kevin.
Aw, fuck you too, sweetie.
I'm JJ, one of the original Tribe of Nerds members. You can catch me on Marvel, Pokemon, and other gaming podcasts.
What up? It's Josh, resident superhero nerd, but I also dabble in the occasional super villain as well.
Some may know me as the Chaos Gremlin, but really I'm just Joe King.
Pikachu, use Volt Tackle! Good job, Pikachu!
On the Tribe of Nerds. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds for episode 8 of Traitors. Austin and I are here to talk about this week's episode, and we get to talk about the face-to-face murder to kick this off. So,
Jesus.
What were your thoughts on this twist?
Well, let's start off with this. I was completely, I wouldn't say bored, but I was like, wow, what a slaughter of an episode. I mean,
Yeah.
The twist was nice. I don't know. I was fine with the twist. I think it's new, right? This was the first time they've done this.
Yeah, this is the first time. I can't remember. I think season 2 had the thing where it was like Ekin-Su drank out of the cup and then
Oh yeah.
murder. That was the only thing I can think of, but that was a little bit different.
That was cool. I liked that, but it's smart that they don't keep reusing the same stuff because,
Right.
I mean, I'd assume some of these people have freaking watched Traitors before. But, I mean, anyway, going into it, I mean, I was nervous for Dylan and I was nervous for Tom. I didn't think Gabby or Dolores would get hit at all. I did have slight conspiracy, I think I talked about at the end of ours about Chriselle, but I thought of it because I thought they would pin it on Tom and then vice versa. But them showing Gabby going first, like coming in first, and then Tom, I was like, yeah, come on. But yeah, I guess I'm a little surprised, but I'm not as surprised. I mean, I feel like they had good reasoning. Chriselle was absolutely faithful.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I thought at first it was going to be Tom based on his reaction, but Danielle and Carolyn are not dumb, so they obviously were going to make the better move than killing Tom.
I think they probably were just doing it for the camera. I mean, I thought it was hilarious how Chriselle was like so like emotionally into it. Gabby's just like la la, and then you got like Dylan who's just smiling away.
Right.
Tom's just like, oh my God, Alan. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah, people probably are just playing it up for cameras because we've seen that with other people before. It's just funny how much gets played up. So, yeah, I seen Chriselle go as well. I mean, she was all right for me. I mean,
Fair.
she cut her own Bambi's throat in Nikki earlier in the game. She was working with Boston Rob till she no longer was last week, and so that's kind of she was there. I mean, she's not like how some of the people have been that are still left in the game. Like she's no Dolores or something like that.
Right.
But she wasn't on my radar as someone I was loving on this season.
That makes sense. Sad rip to Chriselle. I've been watching Selling Sunset since season 1, so I mean,
Oh, wow.
I had a good time with Chriselle on the season personally. I was pissed when they cut Nikki's throat too. I will say that, but I'm still rooting for all the Bambis. We still have Gabby left.
True.
Honestly, she's probably one of the only ones I'm totally rooting for at this point, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, no, yeah, Chriselle, RIP. She got tossed into a coffin and thrown outside somewhere. Who knows where she's laying at right now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's always interesting. I wasn't sure because like I feel like with some of these times where they put someone in a coffin, they like fake that they're carrying them in a coffin and they're not actually in the coffin. Like it's
There's no
probably
way they actually were carrying her in that coffin.
yeah,
Like, you know
yeah,
how much liability they're probably. What if they just drop her ass? Like
right,
she's
exactly. So they just filmed her getting in and them closing the lid, and then they just carried an empty coffin. Yeah, that there's
I
no way.
just love how she reacted too. She's just like, I gotta know why.
Yeah,
You're just too faithful, girl. And then they just dip.
right. I don't know, like I guess well no, she said like she expected Danielle, didn't expect Carolyn. That's what she said. I was gonna say I didn't remember too much of a reaction to, the two of them being the traitors for her, but like that's all we got. So
I mean, forever, anyone who's actually watching what Peacock's putting out weekly, I mean, Carolyn is theoretically playing probably the best game out
oh
of
yeah.
everyone right now. And I mean, we hear Danielle every once in a while. Some people are like, "Oh, she's doing great," and some people are like, "Oh, she was sus." So I'm assuming Danielle's getting out of the heavy target she had, kind of putting
Mhm.
herself on. But there's still a few people, as we'll talk about in a bit, that are still eyeing her.
Right, right. All right, well, let's get to the breakfast. So they all come in. Chriselle is murdered, and
Mhm.
so anything going on at the breakfast that you noticed? Oh, well, I mean, we got to talk about the Carolyn getting called out and like doing a really uh almost a poor job of line because she was like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, before that, we see Brittany and oh my God, Danielle come in. You kind of learn that they're just getting closer and closer. I mean, this episode truly shows that they're a duo in theory.
Mhm.
Which I mean, it's true, but to theory, as some people are speculating in the game right now. And I mean, the rest of the hooligans come in, and I literally said, "Oh, look at the I don't even remember what I said. I was like, look at the bozos walking in. I think that's what I was saying. It's
Yeah.
Ivar, Ciara, and Sam. I'm like, these guys are faithful as hell. They've barely done anything. But I love you three still. Don't hate on me. But yeah, then we get Gabby coming in, and
Yeah.
then who was the next one? It was Tom. Yeah. I mean, Tom looks like a mess every freaking time we see him. The dude probably was stressing walking in. And then, yeah, then we get Carolyn coming in looking hysterical as hell. I mean, she
Yeah.
almost screwed herself with the goddamn comment that you were alluding to just a minute ago. Like, Ciara was the one who asked, right? It was like,
Yeah.
what was the color of his hat? And she's like, I literally don't even remember. And she's like just fucking going, for like a minute straight. And then
Yeah.
Tom fucking saved her ass. I'll say that.
I know. That's hilarious because Tom like describes Alan's outfit in detail, and then Carolyn can't, and then Tom just jumps in and he's like, it was this," and then you have Brittany hilariously making fun of him again.
Oh my God, bro. Brittany's on point.
Yeah.
For Big Brothers, I've only seen a handful. I've seen Danielle's first one. I haven't seen her second, but I had never seen a Brittany season yet. And she's freaking funny. If this is how she plays
Yeah.
in Big Brother, I can't wait to see her season because she tells it how it is in them confessionals. She's like, Ivar's an idiot. He's basically a couch. What else has she said this season? I feel like she's roasted half the damn cast that's left.
Roasted Boston Rob, I'm sure. I'm trying to remember exactly what she said, but I don't really remember the Ivar comment and then everything she says about Tom. So,
Yeah, I mean, everyone just thinks Tom's a buffoon at this point. I mean,
yeah.
Tom's giving me great TV. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah.
Dude's something else.
I love him as a character. Absolutely. I think for Brittany, I've seen BB14 because I watched that
Hmm.
for Dan Giesling. And
Okay.
so like I knew she was a funny character. And like a pretty solid player because she makes it far when she does play, it seems. So
Was she on the Christmas version?
I
I
believe so.
Okay, so I have seen her game play before, I guess, if we're
I
considering that a season.
I think that's what Danielle and Brittany, like what their beef was at the beginning of this, was the reindeer,
Okay,
from what I've
gotcha.
heard, but I didn't watch it. So I just had heard things.
I watched it because we're slightly going off topic, but I liked Cameron. I thought that was way too quick of them to throw him in on there because they just went for him gun ho. But
Yeah, that's what I had heard. And Cameron did play on a Survivor Vanquish, one of the fans versus favorites minis as well.
oh,
So
okay.
yeah. So I think that was also soon after he got back from one of those. So I can't remember uh how far away it was from his stuff, but I think it was that. Uh
Yeah, I don't even remember him playing anything. So,
yeah, I think it was Ryan's fans versus favorite season, Neo's. I believe it was
mm,
that one that Cameron played in. So, but anyway, let's get back on topic. So then we are gonna go to the challenge, and we're gonna go to the dollhouse, and this is where we have dolls making weird noises and peeing on people, and yeah, this is interesting. Not my idea of fun personally, but
yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this challenge. I thought I'm not gonna lie, it's probably my favorite one out of all of these.
that's
Like
fair.
the first one they did was really funny. I like how they just would toss people on the freaking things and like a whole group got a shield. Like definitely was a mechanism to piss people off. But I mean, this one was just hilarious because
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, the first 15 minutes they're like looking for a shield. Like let's all be honest, they didn't give a shit about the challenge. And then you they cut to like the other five. Like Gabby's like, are they even? Or Dylan was like, are they even like trying right now? Are they even looking for shit?
yeah.
Rob's like, I don't know.
Well, so the dollhouse itself isn't my favorite part of the challenge. My favorite part is trying to recite the songs, and of course, we're gonna get the best Tom moment of the season where he's trying to sing. Multiple people say he can't sing after he says he's the most musically inclined, and
Sam literally is like, this dude sucks. I was dying when he said that.
oh my God, it was so good. Like Tom delivers so hard and the way he like just runs back. And I don't know. It's so funny.
And then tell me why, like, while the doll's just pissing on everyone, I swear to God, we had like eight like transitions of him just getting like hit every freaking 5 seconds. That dude must have been in the wrong spot, the wrong time every 5 seconds in that dollhouse. And then you have Ciara who's just sitting in the corner basically like, oh, they're all, doing their shit. Where's my shield?
Right. Yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So she finds because she knows that from the voice message that it's in a bear. So she finds the bear in the leaves, pulls out the shield, and I said, "Well, hey, we haven't really seen it in any season. I don't think. Maybe we haven't. I just can't remember. But why not ban it? Vote to banish the person that has a shield before they can use it. Take it out of play." That does end up happening this episode. But your thoughts on Ciara getting the shield here?
I initially loved it because I thought she was gonna go nuts at the round table, but we'll get to that point. She definitely does not carry through with that at all, but she, I enjoyed her getting the shield out of all those other, players that could get shields. I kind of want the Brittany Danielle thing to get sniped, one of them, just from my own fun self. Like, we'll talk about the ending because if spoiler, no one's watched the damn ending, they get to choose between recruit or ban or murder. But I kind of want to see one of those two get sniped out of the game because I think it'll open up the game a little more. But um, specifically Shield, I'm cool with who got it. She was the number one pick for me. I don't know about you, but I wanted her to find it over everyone else.
Yeah, I think Ciara was potentially going to be the most interesting to get that shield if it had come into play. Um, but yeah, was alas was not to be.
And I guess the only other memorable thing is obviously Tom trying to sing into it, and then the other side of it, they're like, "What in the hell are you even doing, bro?" Like literally every time. I think Sam vocalized it the most. He was like, "Can we guys get someone else to do this?" Like
Yes.
it was
Yeah,
hilarious.
that was gold. All right, well then let's
I think
get
we should, sorry, I think we should touch on before we get too far
yeah.
the strategy talk before the challenge.
Yeah.
We had a few, there was a few clips that were pretty surprising to me. The first one, we see a lot of Ciara and Sam talk. I mean, Sam, I feel like we've gotten two confessionals entirely from Sam, and I think we got like two in general in this one, so he doubled his worth. But I mean, he definitely openly talked about Ciara the most, and then we got a lot of Ciara talking about Brittany. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if like Sam was just like, okay, maybe Sierra is possibly a traitor, but even if she isn't, I just want her out of the game. I don't know, like I don't know how much people are legitimately thinking like this person's obviously a traitor, or they're just like, okay, well we can get further in because they're gonna keep a traitor in the game the entire season. We know that. We've seen it happen. They're not gonna just like end the season halfway through potentially. So
Well, I'm sure they would do a random trader thing
well,
or
that's
something, right? I mean,
yeah, I guess that would be
I actually don't know. That's a good question, actually, what would happen, but I would
well,
only assume that it's a mandatory recruitment or something if there's one of them left. You know what I mean? I don't know.
that's well, because I'm remembering because they brought Kate in last season. Kate was like basically given become a traitor or you're just dead. So like
Yeah.
that was that there's like there was no choice for that one. And then what season one, then Suri and Christian got Ari.
Oh my God,
They
that was a mess.
yeah, after they murdered Cody. So but um yeah, I don't know. I feel like targeting Sierra again, like if you're just trying to get someone out of the game regardless, like I don't know. And getting rid of a shield potentially. And I know like they didn't know that before the challenge, but like yeah, I just think it might be an optimal strategy actually to do that.
Yeah, because that's pretty much all that happens before. We see a lot of clips of Gabby agreeing with Carolyn, wanting to get rid of Brittany.
Hmm.
And I mean, Sam basically just keeps telling the boys it's time to cut Sierra because it's the only lane we got. And then, I mean, let's cycle into after the challenge, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're basically just talking about bouts themselves while the other five come in. I'm trying to remember what they even talked about. I feel like they didn't really talk much about the game until the five came or something. They came back.
No, I don't think they did at all. So it was so that was a bit odd. I do think I was also thinking about this before we get to the round table of like, couldn't Carolyn just actually maybe try to make a move against Brittany and like split Danielle and Brittany up like at this point? But I guess maybe it's around too early to do that. So I mean,
And she wants to though. I mean,
right.
you see her talking to Sierra. She basically tells Sierra, "Hey, listen, you're getting called out again." And
Yeah.
then, I mean, we keep getting these dialogues of how Sierra's gonna like do something at the goddamn round table to get her name off the block. I mean, she walks in to the three. I think it's like Dolores, Tom, and I think it's Ivar. I'm mistaken on the third one, but she just walks in and they're talking about her, and then she's just quiet, like, "Oh yeah, well, let's not forget Jeremy." And I'm just sitting there like, "Oh my God, like you obviously want Brittany gone, and Carolyn obviously is on track with you. I mean." You gotta fight for your life at the round table at some point, right? I mean, we'll talk about the round table in a sec, but I mean, goddamn, like she wasn't doing herself any justice, is where I'm getting at.
No, she really wasn't. Sierra had a really lousy argument. And it's like, it's kind of like when someone says something wrong. Like, I'm gonna compare this to Mafia or Town of Salem, which is like online Mafia. I play it. And like, I think I just played a game recently of it where someone had was innocent, but they made a really crappy argument, so I killed them. Like I voted to banish them because it's like if you give me a really horrible argument, like even like one little thing is terrible about it, I'm getting rid of you because that's really bad information that you're giving me. So, um,
Yeah, and I'm just trying to think of any other. I mean, we barely see Dolores in this episode, I feel like. Um,
haven't seen much of her at all other than she hates Tom.
Fair. That'd be kind of fun to watch them go at it at like final six or something. They just everyone runs out of ideas. Fuck it, let's just vote each other out or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tom would go with that. I was honestly surprised after I don't know if everybody was like kind of joking at this point or just like legitimately still offended, but not gonna vote him out anyway. But we get to the round table and Tom slips up and says all women are big cheaters or usually cheaters. And that was I don't know how you slip up and say that instead of traitors. Like Tom.
He had to have been so in his head at that moment. The dude is I mean, he looked like a mess going in there. I mean, the
Yeah.
dude must be playing with his hair 24/7 with stress. I mean, so he just I mean, Ciara started whatever the hell she was trying to say, and then Tom, that was his rebuttal. I'm just like, okay, Tom, settle down. He basically shut up though. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna sit here and do nothing now. I just said some dumb shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't like I was thinking, okay, Tom just goes home after one slip up. I don't know. I feel like we've seen that on shows before. Like I remember, I guess that reminds me of Total Drama Island and you got Ezekiel being the first boot because he literally just decides right before the end of the episode to literally insult all the women on his team.
I was thinking of the Survivor moment where that one chick, fuck, what was the season? I think it was Parvati's season where she's like, I could really use some whatever, like right now or
Oh,
whatever.
Stephanie and Cook Islands, where she says, "Yeah, mashed potato and mashed
Yeah,
gravy," and Nate just takes it and gets her voted
just
out.
runs with it. All right, Nate, I see you.
I mean, if you say anything like that, if you say anything remotely close to, you want to quit, or like even if you don't actually want to quit, yeah, people will take that and run with it and get you out. So.
I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fun was this roundtable in your opinion? What would you rate this one?
Aside from Tom's slip up, I really didn't find it too fun to watch especially compared to like the last ones. I mean, it ended up in a unanimous vote because Ciara's argument was so bad. So I don't really find that like this that exciting. I feel like the last few roundtables haven't been great. I mean, what since the Nikki round? I'm trying to think like well, we had Wes screwing up. That was pretty funny
That was
actually.
probably my favorite one,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, the Wes screw up and Rob somehow Derek failing and Rob somehow staying one more round to get Derek out. It was like that was the most fun, but then otherwise like we around that we've had Nikki, Rob, and now Ciara just go really unceremoniously.
Yeah, like out of 1 out of 10, I'd probably give this one like a 3. Like you literally all you do in this entire roundtable is it's like Ciara 95% of the time. Like, and she tries to, at one point finally she's like, "Oh, you guys are forgetting like, Danielle's name came out when Jeremy died," and then I mean Danielle just flips it right back on her, and then Ciara just. And again, this is our POV. I mean, maybe Ciara said more throughout, the entire time, but literally well, at least from our perspective, I feel like we can both agree on this. It just didn't look like she was giving a fighting chance. But yeah, it was just very one-sided. You could just tell throughout this roundtable. I was like, yeah, she's screwed.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, so Ciara gets unanimously booted. I thought I heard Alan say that they weren't going to be saying whether they were faithful or traitor, or was that going to be next round? Because I got confused on I feel like when they all of a sudden are changing the rules up as it gets further in the game,
I literally have no idea what you're talking about personally.
okay.
But
I thought I heard that, and then they
okay.
revealed she was a faithful, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't know why they I just didn't know why if they're not gonna do that this episode, why are they bringing it up this episode?
I did that 2 episodes ago with what happened this episode, so
Yeah,
I guess nothing phases me anymore.
yeah. I feel like Traitors, this show could be better than it actually ends up being, and I don't know, like the international ones I've heard good things about. I did watch the first episode of Traitors Australia, and that first episode was a little more interesting because it was like a lot like all new players as opposed to like celebrities. Um, so
I guess to an extent, like I could see it being a little better, but I think it's funny that they throw in shit like that, and then they're just like, "Oh, haha, got you. It's not this episode. It's next." Like I think it's funny, but I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I agree. There could be little nuances, like for example, not there being not a shield every goddamn round would be nice. I mean, I feel like what we have one, two, three, four, five, six. We have 9 people left. Let's just give 5 shields next round. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. At least they knocked it down to one for this episode, at least.
right, right. All right, well, let's get to after the round table. So Dylan ends up pulling what Ivar and Sam into the cabinet or the armory or whatever. And they get noticed as Dylan gets noticed coming out and then has to explain himself to the traitors and
And
Carolyn.
I'm sitting there like this. I'm like, oh my God, it would be Dylan to just walk into both of them sitting there. Like now the dude's just completely obvious. Like he really doesn't see it either. These people really do not think Carolyn is the traitor. Because if I'm Dylan and I'm watching them just sit that close to each other and they're like this when he walks in, like, come on, that would give me some kind of alarm. I mean, it did give him an alarm for Danielle finally, because the dude thinks it's freaking Gabby for crying out loud and Brittany. But then he goes, "Oh, that definitely is suspicious of Danielle. What the hell? What about Carolyn? She's just fucking there too." I don't know. It's funny, but I like how Danielle tries to reverse it on him. Like, "Oh, that's suspicious that you three are in there." I was like, "Okay, Danielle, I see what you're trying to do here, but." I don't know if like there's gonna be 3 guys as traders at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, the only other really big point, I guess, it's not even that big of a point, is all the boys kind of do this after. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we should have not have done that. Like, we're dumb." Oh,
Numbskull boys. All right. Well, I mean, then we get the round table, and Danielle and Carolyn continue to argue. Danielle wants they get the option to recruit now, which I think that's a good thing to get revealed this episode because it's an option that's out there in the game. And Danielle wants to recruit Brittany, and of course, that's horrible for Carolyn's game. So Carolyn's obviously going to argue against it, and Danielle can't understand why. Carolyn wouldn't want to recruit Brittany.
man, these two cannot get along, man. I swear to God. And Danielle's actually being for real. She's like, "Oh my God, I really actually want to like do this with you." And you got Carolyn, and she's like, "I don't fucking want to. I don't want to do this. I don't trust you." Like it, and I get it. I mean, would I be iffy too, probably in Carolyn's shoes? Probably. I mean, if I know that you've been tossing my name out there at some point, that's tough to recoup, especially when you have power like they do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So, which I'm shocked they didn't even bring up Dylan, but I
Yeah.
get their point that they should probably have another girl at this point if they think it's girls already. Which
Right.
in
Right.
reverse, wouldn't you want a guy in there as well to kind of like stir up that whole theory a little bit? I don't know. That's just me, but it's what Gabby, Dolores, which they end up marking off, and then Brittany is their 2 potential recruits.
Right. I honestly think they're gonna end up killing. I think they're I know Carolyn, the only problem is that Carolyn has never been able to get the traders to like actually go her way yet. Like it's always been they end up making the final decision and she's just like, okay, I have to go with this, and that ends up being like she's a great player, but that's why she didn't win Survivor 44 is she kind of just listened to everybody else and didn't actually make her moves toward like at the merge at all.
The
So
really good thing about Traitors, though, is it's like the complete opposite for Survivor, right? You get to the end, you don't need to pitch a case at this point. You just have to be basically a faithful, right? And I
yeah,
mean, if someone does throw in the flare, I guess that's basically where you final tribal for your life. But at the end of the day, if these people think she's full ass faithful, I mean, can she kind of get away with not pulling strings in there at right
yeah,
now? Yeah, probably, you know. I think she's smart though. She's keeping Gabby like in the back of her head. She's like, do not get rid of her, do not get rid of her. But I mean, everyone else fair game. I feel like that's what she's at.
agreed, agreed. Um, all right, let's get to predictions for uh next week's. I guess I mean we've been talking about that, but I mean, if someone gets murdered, who do you think they are going to murder?
So if they could absolutely pull a fast one and just go right to a murder because I could see it with how Traders goes.
Mhm.
If I had to pick somebody, it's either Sam or Dylan for me. I weirdly enough think Sam could be murdered based on the theory that he has started being, he started talking a little more.
Yes.
Daniel literally says it at the lunch table. Like, I think she says it in a confessional or something where you got to keep your eye on Sam now. Like, he's starting to catch on a little bit. And if he is catching on and he's a huge faithful, like, that's a good time to get rid of him so he doesn't kind of keep, barking in everyone's ears about certain people. Because he did lead that. You know what I mean? It wasn't Dylan this time. It was him.
Right. And
But that would probably be my biggest guess, I guess.
yeah, and his airtime did spike up like all of a sudden. What he's gotten like probably two confessionals all season, then he gets like two or three this episode all of a sudden. So
Yes. I mean,
mhm.
who do you think's gonna get murdered if
I
there's
think
murder?
Sam's a good choice. I could see I don't know. I feel like Ivar's like probably confirmed faithful as well, so they could just do that again to get
That's
rid of
true.
guys. And then like Sam was wrong anyway, so like I don't know. I feel like they're not people that Sam is particularly targeting. Carolyn's definitely not. I don't think Danielle maybe, but I think she's safer than a couple other people right now. So
That's true with Ivar. The only thing I argue is he literally doesn't do anything.
well,
So
yeah.
he might be a good one to bring near the end and then execute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean he's not good at the game. I agree with that. I don't know. I think we
From
saw
what we see,
I
at
think we
least.
saw it last season. Like he reminds me of John from last season who like had these outrageous speeches at roundtables, but like he all he did was just like be loyal to Pilot Peter. Like I don't know. It was just I see so many similarities in them.
If they recruit, do you think it's Brittany or do you think it's Gabby?
I'm worried that Carolyn's just going to all of a sudden submit to what Danielle wants. That's what I'm worried about. Like she will argue and then she will not put her foot down, I feel like, and that's a problem. So I'm thinking it's going to end up being Brittany getting recruited if that does happen because Danielle will get her way.
Here's my full prediction. They're gonna talk about Brittany again. Carolyn's gonna shut it down and say, "Listen, if you're not gonna do, I don't want to do. I'm not doing Brittany. We're just murdering somebody, and then they're gonna murder someone. That's where I'm at. That's what I think is gonna happen.
Yeah, I could see that happening too, for sure. So, all right, anything else from this episode?
No, I think we did a really good job covering this episode. I mean, I'm trying to think of any little nuances. I mean, I guess we'll th to throw something funny in there. That freaking baby in Alan's pocket was creeping me the hell out, and the dude was in his pocket all episode.
I
I
didn't even
mean,
notice.
he was just hanging out, and he like went from having like dark beady eyes to white ghost eyes. I'm like, who the hell is this little kid that is in your damn pocket?
Oh, my other favorite moment, since we're just talking about funny moments, is when they're singing the songs, and I think they say nips, and Alan just goes like this on his nipples. So I was like,
I think Alan, for the most part, was the second funniest part of the entire challenge because he's just like this the entire time. He's like, "What the hell are you guys doing,
oh,
dude?"
he's laughing and cringing at Tom the entire time, which is amazing.
And Ivar's holding the phone, and Alan's like, "What are you doing, you dumb fuck?"
Yeah, why, you don't he said don't submit to Tom, just do your own man.
Oh my God, like Ivar, you're cracking me up, dude. And Tom, you get a flash of Tom going like when he's running back. I'm like, oh my God, you guys crack me up, dude. These
Yeah,
these people are so freaking funny. Oh my God.
oh my God. I need Tom on Survivor or
Oh my God.
Deal or No Deal Island.
Give me like Dylan and Tom on Amazing Race or something, man. I
Oh
need
my,
Dylan to come back. Like Dylan needs to be on something. I need to see him.
yeah, yeah,
Tom too. Like those two crack me up.
yeah. So I will say next week we get Kate and Parvati back.
Woo!
So Parvati really raking in all the reality show appearances because she'll also be on Australia versus the World later this year. So
Yeah, so she's been on Deal or No Deal Island 2 now.
yeah,
Uh
Traitors.
she she's going on the national one, Survivor, right? And
Yeah,
then she was on basically made a guest appearance here. She's going all over the place, man. It's the year
right,
of Parvati.
right. Yeah, this it's pretty crazy.
I love
Um,
to see Kate. Keep bringing Kate back, man. That's my favorite.
yeah.
That's like an OG right there.
Well, Kate's gonna keep being in every season. That's like to some extent. I mean, they knew they captured lightning in a bottle with Kate, and they love her, so they will keep using her. So,
I knew she was a good pick when on season one because I know you probably don't. Do you watch Below Deck?
I do not.
So watching Below Deck with her and the chef, which side note, they need to cast what is his name? I'm losing it. Besides the point, I would love to see the chef get put on here. But anyway, Kate was always diabolical, Jake. Like she would not give a like about anyone's complaints. She would tell you straight up how it is. Like, oh, she was cracking me up. And when I seen her on it was like episode 3 when she almost went home and she didn't give a flying fuck on that table. I was like, damn, Kate, you are gonna kill yourself in this game. And then she, ends up getting out of it and
Yeah,
going farish, I guess. I mean, she doesn't get as far as the second time, but yeah, she was made for this game, man. Like funny wise, like she might have not known what the hell is going on season one, but she is like good TV. Good TV.
oh, yeah, absolutely. Her basically making it so they don't win money in that one challenge with the rolling barrels is
Oh my
iconic.
God, she's like literally throwing it out on the grass. I'm like
Yeah,
dying. I'm like, what are you doing? This is the funniest shit ever. Like you do not care.
pissing everybody off, but she somehow still survives the vote. Uh,
She was
God.
like nominated like half the season too. Like you would see her barely squeaking by. I'm like, how are you like not the chosen one at this point? No, season one was its own mess. It was good mess though. Good mess.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, big stuff coming up though. Very excited because we will be doing our Australian Survivor draft. Speaking of Australian Survivor, that's coming up with Michael. And we're very excited to get to do that. Each of us will pick teams of 8 and for the 24 players. And yeah, I'm curious who we're all gonna pick and how our teams are gonna do.
I can't even name a person, man. So this is gonna be really fun. We need to get like a board so that I can just see faces and be like, that's a good vibe or she's hot or something so that I can see something. Because I know faces, I won't lie. I know some faces. I just don't know these names.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be fun. I am completely excited to watch Australian Survivor.
I know. Yep, yep. And then US Survivor, and I'll be doing a draft of that with probably Kevin at least. And so we'll have that going on at the same time, just a week later. So
And I
excited for
I
that.
haven't been paying attention to 48 either. I'm like behind on Survivor right now, but
Yeah.
I'll get wrapped back into it. I've been really into Traitors. That's probably why. Oh, and Deal or No Deal Island too. God, it's late. But yeah, no, man, there's so many shows going on right now, man.
I know. I'm excited. All right. Well, we will see you all next time then on the Tribe of Nerds.